Welcome to the My House Podcast, a show about the past, present, and future goings-on at the My House Youth Drop-In Center in Wasilla, Alaska, with your host, Michelle Overstreet.
Hi, welcome to episode 8 of the My House Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Overstreet. I'm so excited today to be joined by Senator Lisa Murkowski, who has been one of our biggest champions, encouragers, and supporters, and we're discussing how the growth of My House and the impact of community and support has brought us to where we are today, and I'm just excited to visit with her. Before we talk to the senator, let's cut to Isaac for a quick housekeeping update.
Well, I don't have too much just because I don't want to take any more time to get to the senator than we have to. I will mention that last week we had a Diagnonsense episode with our outreach coordinator, Jay Dagenhart, come out. That was pretty cool. We were talking about the myth of happiness. Then Redemption, we kind of had a big update. Just Julia and Stacy kind of traded places. Julia was the big lead host, and she talked to Stacy just kind of about all the stuff that Stacy's doing right now, because there's so many projects with that wing of My House that are going on. So that was a really great update if you are involved with ASHTA or any of the other work that Stacy's doing. We definitely have episodes coming out next week. Obviously, my voice dropping Friday, more Diagnonsense and Redemption next week. As far as events that we have going on, there's the big one right now is we're kind of gearing up more and more for the 18 Holes of Hope golf tournament on July 22nd. And we're still looking for some more sponsors for the holes, and also we still have a limited number of availability as far as like playing in the golf tournament. And I'm a big free agent right now. So if you only have like 3 people, just call me up. I'll be there. And the proceeds are going towards My House. So obviously I think it's a great cause. If businesses, individuals, or just, come down and watch. I like watching golf. I might be weird for that, but I like watching golf.
The tournament is so much fun because each hole has a different, sponsorship. So there's contests and games and camaraderie and really good conversations. Last year we had youth that were graduates of our program, successful client stories, going around and talking about their experience with our organization. So you can talk to clients with lived experience and how it worked for them. Various stages of success. We're not just setting everybody up to be a rock star who's there, but boy, is it fun. It's a fun day of golf, and then wraps up with Josh Broda and the Settlers Bay Lodge providing a banquet dinner that is, if you've been out to Settlers Bay recently, Josh is just hitting home runs every night.
Oh, the greens are so nice.
And
you're talking about the food.
I'm talking about the food.
I'm talking
about
lodge. Playing golf still.
But the greens are nice also. The greens are nice. So come join us.
All right. So without any further ado, let's throw it over to the senator and Michelle.
Oh, thank you for being here, Senator. This is just such an honor to be able to visit with you for a few minutes for our podcast, and thank you for advocating for our clients and supporting us and putting that inviting me first to submit for that appropriation and encouraging me to dream big, and for putting our name in for that $23 million appropriation. We had a visit yesterday from Watterson Construction, and they looked at the rendering of the building that would provide us with 65 more beds and job training, and they were just blown away. And so thank you for that. Thank you seems too small, but thank you for that.
Well, Michelle, I think about the years that it's been since I first came to know you. My very first visit, when Jerry took me out there to My House and kind of introduced me to what you had going. At the time, it could barely be described as more than a coffee cart. You were just beginning to set up a little bit of a thrift shop, but you really couldn't even call it that. And it was really just collecting as many young people as you could, trying to give them a safe place off the streets, showing them some love and respect. I think back from that very first visit, how over the years I've tried to call in for your telethons to try to raise a few dollars here and there as you work to build out this vision. And so when we finally had an opportunity to see congressionally directed spending returned to the appropriations process, in my view, what my house was doing was just such a perfect fit for support for not only your vision, but you've got a super great, strong board, and you have such extraordinary volunteers throughout the community. So this is Michelle Overstreet's vision, but it is a shared vision in that community, what you're doing to help young people. So I'm just so pleased that we're at this point where you can have other people coming and looking at what you have, what you've designed for this center and what it's going to mean. It's just so exciting.
Oh, it really is. And one of the things that I always think about when I think about your visits, because you've been coming here since we opened the door. I mean, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
We really, our beginnings were so humble, and this rudimentary, that the Lions Club bought us the espresso machine that we started with and that we still use. And we had a donated little, residential oven, and we were just it was sort of cobbled together because nobody really understood the vision that we had for the job training piece for the youth. But you came in and went right behind that counter and visited with all of those kids, and you've continued to do that. And some of those have pictures of themselves with you. I will tell you, one of those young ladies, whose name is Brandy, and you may or may not remember her, she started as a janitor here, worked as my administrative assistant for a little while, graduated with a college degree last spring, and just closed yesterday on a triplex that she is the sole owner of.
I can't tell you, Michelle, that just gives me goosebumps hearing you say that. That's empowerment. That's really what it's all about. Congratulations to Brandy. Congratulations to all who have supported her along the way.
Oh, it's so wonderful. But I will tell you that one of the things that she loved when she worked in the cafe was that you came and she got a picture with you. And those kids, we produce those pictures in hard copy, and they take them with them. We have a young man who's got a picture with Senator Dan Sullivan, and he carried that around for weeks and showed people. And so your impact, when you go in and you spend those moments with those kids, doing really what you did with me when you said, I want you to dream big and send me something awesome. My first response to that was to go to the youth and say, if we're going to send the senator something awesome, what does that look like? And I had that building that Will Carson designed for the 2015 Time Magazine Invention of the Year award on Skid Row that I knew that something like that would work here. And so we built on that. But it was youth-led and youth input, and they kind of decided what would go in that building. But I kept thinking about the fact that you really honored them with each visit. And it wasn't about, coming to talk to me. It was about coming to talk to these youth and helping them realize their value in the community. And I could go on and on about success stories like Brandy. I think last spring, I don't know where it's at this spring, but last spring we had 7 college graduates that had been part of our programs. And that doesn't happen by accident. You don't go from, it's like the homeless to Harvard story. And so thank you for honoring our programs with your presence and your visit, and for believing that this model and that really empowering youth with job training works.
Well, we see this translated in different ways, and different communities have different assets, and will perhaps have different responses. But I think one of the challenges that you have there in the Mat-Su is you've got a lot of young people that were not were it not for the support that they receive at school, or were it not for the support that they receive at a place like my house, they can just kind of become invisible. You know, there's a lot of room out there. There's a lot of places for kids to just kind of fade into the background and be alone, and in that loneliness seek some kind of assurance. And we know far too often that assurance or whatever they're seeking comes artificially through substance abuse, whether it is drugs, whether it's alcohol. We're seeing the impact of fentanyl in our communities in extraordinary and shocking numbers. And so when we think about what supports can we provide for young people, it's a safe place to be, whether it's a safe place after school, or if you're not in school, a safe place to be, a place where people accept you as you are. Come in, let us be that again, a safe place for you, a non-judgmental place. And let's work with you on some of your dreams. Let's help give you some skills that will launch you. And I think this is what we see day over day at my house, are caring people who believe in these young people, when these young people may feel that there is nobody there who believes them, nobody there who supports them, nobody there who understands them. And so much of it, you know, we're talking about the opportunity for this center, for the Homeless Youth Center, soon to be the Carson Cottle Center. We're talking about that as a physical structure, but there's so much more that goes into that. It is the professionals that will be part of that. It's the volunteers. It's people with heart that will be part of that. But one of the things that we know is that when we show young people that you have value and that we have created a space that is yours, and it's fresh and it's new and it's designed by the young people themselves, how empowering is that? Because the community is saying, we value you so much, we're going to provide you with this extraordinary center. We're going to be part of your journey through this center. And so think about what that means. I kind of felt this a little bit, Michelle, when I was visiting with you just a couple months ago, and you know, to see the upgrades to the coffee shop there,
Right.
to see the upgrades in the store. I mean, it looks like a schwanky shishi boutique that you would find in a city.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, for a young person who's coming in and, you know, trying to work to gain some skills, knowing that you're in a place that's not a thrift store, not a place where people take hand-me-downs, but where, hey, I'm in a place where the look is good, and I like how I feel when I'm part of a place like this.
Right. I really do think that makes a difference. Their perception of themselves changes and is reflected back to them in that surrounding that was all created by young people who had been in their exact place, in their shoes. And you're just spot on. You're exactly right. The idea that they've been invisible for X amount of time while they were struggling, and in that place that you described where they kind of get lost, and when they're lost, I think a lot of times they don't really want people to notice them because they don't know how to respond or what to respond with. But they feel invisible and invalued. And so when they don't feel valued, it's hard to connect and re-engage in sort of the process of going back to school maybe after they've been homeless, or applying for a job when they haven't had a shower. And so being able to come in and take a shower and get a haircut and get some clean clothes that are where the kids that are in the boutique help them find clothing that is their style, and it's nice. You're right. It's like a bougie boutique instead of a thrift shop. And we were laughing yesterday. We have a volunteer who comes in and teaches the girls about some of the designer things. So we may have a Coach purse, or we had a pair of Gucci shoes that had the little interlock G's on them, and she was teaching them about these logos. And I just thought that was so precious, because they were all like, okay, so the C is Coach and the G is Gucci, and we were giggling about the fact that, this is a whole different learning curve than what we started with, right? But the kids were so excited about the fact that they knew stuff, and it wasn't that they wanted the designer stuff necessarily, but they were happy to know things, right? That were Gucci. So I really feel like that's part of it, and part of your impact here when you visit is that feeling of I matter to this person. That she's talking to me and she's listening to me and she understands. And I just want to thank you for that, because and we had a young man who articulated it very well one time. He said, when people come here and talk to me about my goals and my dreams, and I see who you are and I see the car you drive, and I know what you do for work, it makes me want to be a better person. It makes me believe that maybe I could have a life like that someday. And that was so moving for him to be able to articulate that, and I think that's so true.
You think about what you just said, though, Michelle, and it just strikes me that oftentimes we feel like we have to do big things to make a difference. We have to figure out how we get millions of dollars to create a center,
right?
And in truth, some of the things that can be most impactful is just a kind word, a gesture of support, a hug when it's not expected, just validating who someone is as a person through acknowledgement of them. And I think sometimes we forget how much it can mean to somebody who is just hungry for again, some validation of who they are as a person, some validation of their value. So even saying something as simple as, wow, you look nice today. I hope you have a great morning. How that can change a person's view of their day, and how they approach it. And so I think about the different ways that we help throughout the community. And I feel grateful that the community has supported my house as it has over the years, whether again, it's through the telethon or different ways that the community has come forward with support. I'm proud of the fact that we'll be able to bring federal dollars to help with this youth center. But I think everybody can play a role in supporting our homeless youth, those who are struggling, whether it is with mental health or substance issues, those who are really trying to find themselves. I think we all have a role to play, and we should not ever think that what we do is not important in contributing to the lives of these very, very worthy young people.
Oh, I love that point. Thank you for saying that, because you're absolutely right. And the peer support that comes to them is as important, and the volunteers that come in. We've got a handful of amazing volunteers that have kept them going during the really tough times. And so, yes, everybody can do something, and it sometimes it's just an acknowledgement and a hello. I'm so happy that you could join us today. I'm so grateful for your time. I know that you're on a tight time schedule, and as we kind of wrap up here and honor your schedule, is there anything that you wanted to share that we didn't talk about already?
Well, we've talked about the funding for the center, but I also want to acknowledge the work that we're doing together with you in providing support for additional programmatic services to those you serve, whether it's the job training, the sex trafficking recovery support, as well as the transitional housing wraparound services. So there's just so much that comes with the work that you do. And again, Michelle, your leadership over the years in the community, working with these young people, working to build this support is so greatly appreciated. But I know, because I've met them on my many trips out there, I know that you are able to do what you do because you have the backing of exceptional people who, so many of whom just give from the heart, and they just keep giving. And you're blessed in that. And the young people that you serve are doubly blessed because of that.
So true. So true. Thank you for that. Thank you for that notice and reminder. And we do have a lot of different things that we do, and we enjoy and are blessed by tremendous support from so many individuals and organizations and foundations and groups. Stay safe, Senator.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
your
Michelle.
time.
Know that we are with you. You are working to build extraordinary things for extraordinary people, and I'm so very, very appreciative.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, again, a big thank you to Senator Murkowski for coming on the podcast and donating her time. I don't know if, we'll see how well I'm able to edit it out. With the Zoom, it's a little bit harder. You could hear kind of that high-pitched noise towards the end of our conversation with her, and that was the warning bell, I think, telling them to get back into session. Just a huge thank you, not only to Senator Murkowski for all the support that she's given us over the years, like we talked about, but also just for being able to donate some of her precious time to even sit down and talk with us about that via recording.
Yeah, thank you, Senator, for that, and for her staff, Anna Diedrich and Jerry from the Valley office. We're so grateful for the incredible staff that support everybody who across Alaska who works with the senator.
Yep, and Hannah Ray for helping us get it all set up.
Hannah Ray. So thank you, everybody who was involved in that. And we just like to let you know that the My House podcast is recorded at the My House studio in Wasilla, Alaska. Our producer and editor is Isaac Smolden, and I'm Michelle Overstreet. Until next time.